Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Be Well Live. My name is Sousa, and I'm the Senior Wellness Coordinator in the Athletics and Recreation Department. Thanks for joining us today. We will be talking about fermented foods, our favorite fermented foods, because there's thousands of them, and our gut health. So just a quick, what is fermented foods? What is this? It's a kind of a buzzword these days. So it's just foods that have gone through the fermentation process. So quickly with the boring science stuff first, what is the fermented process and how do we turn foods into fermented foods? So basically it is when food and or beverages undergo a controlled microbial growth and fermentation process, which is basically our microorganisms like yeast and bacteria. They break down food components like our glucose that are found or sugars that are found in our foods, and they turn them into other products like organic acids, gases, and or alcohol. So that's the fermentation process. It sounds technical, and it's not really as crazy and technical as you think. And it sounds weird because you're throwing around the word bacteria and food, but they're healthy bacteria. And you hear about that with probiotics and things like that. So think about that in the fermentation process, that it's healthy. You hear about gut health, all these healthy things for your gut when it comes to fermented foods. And that is why we'll talk about the health benefits, probiotics. So many of your fermented foods you'll find have a high number of probiotics as well as prebiotics too. So what are the benefits of a probiotic, and really then in turn, what are the benefits of fermented foods in our diet? They have the potential for healthy foods to carry additional health benefits. And again, that's in the form of probiotic, prebiotics. So our probiotics are basically living microorganisms or bacteria that are good and gut-friendly bacteria, and they create a favorable gut environment. It's the best way to describe it without, again, getting all sciencey on you. They create a very healthy gut environment, and which is amazing for our immune systems, helps support a healthy immune system. They also, you'll find they have done studies that fermented foods help with high blood pressure, they increase our bone health, and they actually helps what am I trying to say? I'm trying to look where I was going there. In regards to recovering from exercise. So it helps with recovery. So fermented foods can be awesome. And let's talk about a few out of the thousands and thousands. I'm going to just talk about my favorites. So let's start on the left over here. It's kefir, and it's basically, I call it like the yop, you know, the yogurt drink that you can get, or as a kid you used to have, or maybe you still drink yop. That's pretty much what kefir is. It's like a drinkable yogurt. However, it's different in that it has way more probiotics than a regular yogurt will. And just so you know, if you're already having yogurt, you're incorporating fermented foods in your diet. So that's what yogurt is. It's fermented milk. And but you'll find that a lot of your favorites, even the Greek yogurts and whatnot, none of them really differ. It's product to product really on how much probiotics it contains. So you really want to check your labels on that. But regardless, kefir will always carry more probiotics than your yogurts. So that's why it's a really good fermented gut health. People rave about that. Be careful about the sugars. Yes, that's part of the fermentation process. We just talked about that it eats the sugars, but a lot of people or companies will add the sugars back in after the fermentation process. So you want to be careful that you're not getting something loaded with sugar. As soon as you see something like vanilla, so I picked this up today because they didn't have any natural kefir, but I typically would get natural in all my dairy products, and I will add my sweetness in, maple syrup. So a little tip, you can control your sugar by buying natural yogurt products or dairy products and adding in something like maple syrup. Kefir. Okay, the ones that most people know about, I'm going to switch my yogurt over here, are fermented cabbages. So sauerkraut. That's a big one that everybody knows about. It's a German staple, and it's been around for centuries. Both of these has. Kimchi is its Korean cousin, and it is spicy. It is also fermented cabbage, but they have a lot of prebiotics because they've added things like garlic and onion, and those vegetables actually carry prebiotic. So when you add in those extra things, so does honey, wheat, milk, just so you know, for prebiotics. So that's why the kimchi is such a good one, and it's spicy. So this one's much more flavorful. It's got some fish sauce in here as well. And this is not boring. I eat this every single day. So I'll go through one of these once a week. this big jar, and I have this for breakfast with my eggs. Some people think it's crazy, but I love it. And it's got a tang. That's what fermented foods do too. It's just tangy, and you'll find that it has like a lot more flavor, and that's what the fermentation process does as well. So finally, my absolute favorite, my go-to is kombucha. This has been a big buzz over the past few years too. So it's fermented tea. And you can get a green tea, a black tea, or if this starts to get a little expensive, these can run around $4 a bottle. But you can make your own, and I've been making my own for years. I'm in a little bit of a pause right now on making my own, so I can't show you, but it's so simple. And you ferment your tea, and then you add in your flavor. So, these ones are my absolute favorites. Ginger, it's a great way to add a little spice to your fermented tea. It's so good, again, for gut health. And then this one is one of my other favorites, is Watermelon Wonder, and it's got some cherry and watermelon juice in it. So nice in the summer. It's sparkly, so it's effervescent, if you will, and it's lovely. So those are my favorites for summer. Those are some of my favorite fermented foods. There are thousands and thousands of them. Check them out and try to incorporate some in your diet for some extra punch of gut health today. Tomorrow, join us. Kim is doing a apple pie tacos at 2:00 tomorrow on our Be Well Live. I hope you enjoy today's session. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon and be well. Take care.